Are you starting to get, they're starting to identify deficiencies in a lot of the students, and they're asking me and saying, hey, do you have connections? They know I'm, always connected. Do you have any connections in the tutoring space and or any ideas? So are you starting to see that yourself, some of the parents being
Yes.
notified that their students are behind and they need to have some remedial work and stuff like that? Or is that?
Oh, yeah. The last 2 weeks have been crazy, and parent conferences are coming up these next 2 weeks. So it is, yeah, it's on. It is on.
Mohammed, if you'd like to come on screen. Today is going to be kind of an open mastermind. I was telling Dawn as we were getting started, through a divine appointment, I ended up actually through Be Konnected with a guest yesterday on my podcast, Susan Gold, who's been in marketing, B2B marketing, she is an amazing talent, and she volunteered to lead a discussion next week on defining your market, ideal client, that kind of stuff. So I was kind of going to do that today and use some of the resources we have access to from the online training, but in light of that, she'll be joining us next Friday. So I didn't want to focus on that if we were going to focus on it again next week. But we can talk about, any preliminary challenges or thoughts. But I mean, even if it seems relatively straightforward in terms of what it is that we're looking for from a client standpoint, the getting even more clarity and identifying which clients not only are ones that'll pay you, but pay you what you need to provide the service, but also ones that are very aligned with you. In other words, they're fun to do business with, not just a challenge. And we all have that, right? Especially, start out and say, I'll take any and all comers, and then you get some people that become clients that, take up 80% of your effort, and, the good clients usually don't do that. So that'll be also, I mean, she's been in the marketing space. She doesn't look like it, but she's been in the marketing space for 40 years. So in various settings. So I thought having her help us with our thought processes around that. So I'll be promoting that so you can encourage yourselves as well as others if that's, I mean, we've had discussions with other digital marketers and other people talking about market strategy and stuff like that. But her focus is kind of like the big picture and then narrowing it down to the basics and stuff. So I think anybody that's in business, myself included, can benefit from that focus. So Mohammed, I'm gonna offer you again to come to panelist if you want, since you declined last time. I have to give it to you again. Okay, so yeah, you are joining. Yeah, that's fine. So today we're just going to kind of drill down. I know. So anything. So are you needing, Dawn? Before I kind of segue to Lloyd and Mohammed when he gets on, is there any? Are you still into the STEM types of science, technology, that kind of tutors in terms of needing
Science
that?
and math. I would say mostly science and math. Sometimes language arts for the lower level, like the 5th and under, but mostly, yeah, science, math and science. It's chemistry and geometry all day.
So you don't have too many of those to keep busy. So if
Progress.
we're getting a little feedback there. Okay, well, that's good to know. We'll I'll rattle people's cages again. Hey, Mohammed, good to see you.
Hello, good to see you too. Sorry, my environment is too busy right now. I'll call you later.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Hey, Lloyd, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, buddy. Just trying to master technology here.
Well, I can see that you're technically you're on mute, but you must be using the phone, right?
Yeah. My connection is kind of wonky around here, so I try to split video and audio. How you doing, Don?
Good.
Hey, did you talk to Ron Johnson?
Me?
Yeah, Memro Music.
Oh, I have not talked to him yet, but yes, I did reach out.
All right. Yeah, he's good people.
Good.
Yeah, so Lloyd, I was telling Dawn before you got on that Wednesday's meeting, you weren't online on Wednesday, were you? Yeah, Wednesday's meeting was, off the hook. I don't know what the deal was, but we had, I think, 26 people in the room and 14 people on Zoom. So I think everybody, there were some people that RSVP'd also for today that have said they're either running late or they're not going to make it. So I'm guessing that, again, it's kind of like going to church, right? You go on, I don't know if you have that experience, right? But, if you make it on Sunday, then you don't, if there's other events during the week, you feel like you checked your box or whatever. So, that may be what we're dealing with here. But so I kind of anticipated. So, as I said, we're going to focus on the topic that I really, based upon some of our discussions and mastermind discussions up to this point, that I felt would be important, was around, kind of revisiting and getting clarity on our ideal client, and that gives us a foundation for knowing where to invest our time and our money as we go forward. And because, we can spend a lot of time throwing stuff against the wall and hoping it sticks, and reacting to, like in Dawn's case where, we were talking before, when you guys first got on about, the fact that now kids are in school in all grades, and the feedback I'm getting from some of my network, because as I've been in that space in the past, and I'm a parent and I'm a grandparent, and so I hear a lot of conversation. There's a lot of feedback about kids having lost quite a bit of ground over the last year because of the situation with COVID and not being able to go to class and get the type of experience. So kind of ferreting out which, even people that are coming to you, knowing who you're going to spend, who's going to be inspiring to work with, and who's going to be really your ideal client is probably a worthwhile focus. And so that's what we're going to talk about next Friday on the Mastermind with Susan Gold. And like I said, she was my Warrior versus Zombie podcast guest yesterday. So if you want to get to know her a little bit, if you go to our YouTube channel and watch the recording of the straight replay, I'll be publishing it to the audio podcast platforms today sometime. But you can just watch it on our YouTube channel, where we also put the recordings of these masterminds. And if you haven't, by the way, for those that are here, I mean, there's only a few of us here, but if you haven't actually gone to that YouTube channel and subscribed to it, I really appreciate it if you would. Some people they'll go and watch the videos or look at it, and then And if you subscribe to it and ask for notifications, then when I put up one of these videos on YouTube, you'll get a notification. And then the other good news about that is once I get to actually 100 subscribers, or we get to 100 subscribers, then I can start branding that channel. YouTube allows me to do allows us to do some other things with that that'll make it more useful and brand it. So I would appreciate that, and share it with, other people in the group. It's kind of one of those things. It's kind of weird. People jump in. There's Robbie D. I'm gonna let him in here. So he'll be rejoining.
You mentioned something about the kids, and I think, not having lost something because I haven't been to school. I think that's probably a good thing, because, our society, hey Rob, our society really started deteriorating when we got to the two parents working, and we got to latchkey kids and all that kind of stuff. So
Right. Lloyd, you somehow went mute. Not sure what happened. Lloyd, you went mute. Nobody else can hear him either, right?
No, I cannot hear him.
Lloyd, you need to unmute.
I am unmuted.
Oh, now you are. You weren't.
Yeah.
Your lips were moving, but we weren't hearing anything. Sorry.
It was probably my my internet connection. So I said that I think maybe the fact that kids aren't going to school is probably a good thing, in that they're not subject to the influences that they would normally have, right? So now they have somebody at home giving them the guidance, the values and stuff that is of value to that family, as opposed to 5, 10, 15, 20 other people at school, and they're amalgamating all that to become the person that they're going to become, as opposed to the way a family is supposed to work is, somebody should be at home guiding these kids. And so I believe our society started really going down the hill after World War II, when, Rosie the Riveter didn't come back home. She stayed out in the workforce. And so by the 60s and 70s, you had latchkey kids. Kids would come home to an empty house, So television took over, was the educator in school, and, parents were so busy at work and all that stuff that they didn't have time to see what that kid is assimilating in their heads. So I think to some extent, now that they're at home with somebody, some adult. Who's I'm not doing it. Who's muting me? Somebody's muting me. I don't know who's doing it.
No, I can't. I'm the only one that could mute you, and I'm not. So
I see what it said.
Your mute button is on.
well, that's because he's using two connections. He's got an audio. He's using the phone, so it looks like he's muted. And for the most part, he's not. But he
how about this?
Yeah, we can hear you now, though, Lloyd. You're good.
Okay.
But I kind of got the gist of what you're saying, Lloyd. I'd be interested. I have a point of view, but Dawn, how would you, in your space, how does that resonate with you, and does that give you any thoughts about messaging? Because I have actually, one of the things when Lloyd was talking, and just thinking about it from my standpoint, I kind of had a thought, but I wanted to see if anybody, if Dawn, how did that resonate with you, and do you have any thoughts around that?
I mean, I see the advantage of one of the positives of COVID is a lot of families got closer and saw what was important. I definitely have heard that and seen that, but as far as education. Most families could not do that at home. And there's a district in Austin that is, they basically said there will be no new material taught. It'll all be, review from whatever the kid was in last year. So if the kid was in second last year, they're in third now, they're going to be reviewing all that second grade work because they can't go forward.
Yeah, that's,
Most kids, not all, but
Yeah.
yes, I do agree with Lloyd in the fact that families did get closer, and for a lot of families, and people reevaluated.
well, and an interesting thing is, it just occurred to me because one of the when I took over the private Christian school, that I had, I was out doing radio interviews, because one of the things we determined was that we were the best kept secret in North Dallas as far as education goes. And the thing is, with a private school, and I think also in the area of tutoring, I think what Lloyd was saying is good. I think that it's the whole last year was kind of a wake-up call. And I mean, whether your prospective clients see the opportunity in the challenge, the bottom line is they maybe now realize that getting more intentional and more engaged with their students' academic path is not just a nice thing to have, but a necessity going forward. And somehow getting some messaging around, if the last year has taught you anything, and again, I know right now you've got a lot of people coming in and you're busy and trying to get the business to serve that. But I don't think I think there's a message there, possibly, in terms of, well, now that you know that, you can't just throw your kids out to the school system and that whole process, and let's sit down and have a conversation about how we can augment it. Maybe they don't know what they need. Maybe there's an opportunity there to kind of help triage and get back to some of your things. So connecting those dots, when Lloyd was talking, kind of, because I had a lot of parents come into the private school and say, our kids just aren't getting the attention. These schools in Plano or Richardson are so large that they can only deal with so far down or in here, and my child is losing this, whether it's the opportunity to participate in sports or the opportunity to get a little smaller, a little more intimate focus on math or science or reading or history, whatever, right?
Yeah, be proactive.
Yeah, and I think that maybe right now it's kind of the in the business versus on the business thing, and right now you're just trying to seize the opportunity of what's coming at you, and that may be the amount of bandwidth you've got to allocate. But I think from a strategizing on your franchise, your business growing, that might be something to think about. So as we go into next Friday, when we're talking about our ideal client and messaging and whatever our market strategy, which is not going to be led by me, it'd be led by Susan Gold. I think that would be maybe worth a little bit of thought cycles on your part if you're going to join us next Friday.
Yeah, that goes with my create statement that we talked about last week.
Exactly.
It goes right along with it.
Yeah, and I think it's a beautiful. I'm glad you made that connection, because I agree. I think it does. I mean, the more I think we can, once we kind of know why we're doing what we're doing and the value we provide, and if anything were possible, where would we go? And then you start thinking about, okay, who am I taking with me? Who am I providing the value to? Because you don't want to cast pearl before swine. You don't want to just, again, it's a necessary, as much as scary as it may seem, to define who it is you're going to serve and who you're not going to serve. Because if you don't do that, what you think is good news might be bad news. You might attract somebody that you weren't expecting to attract, but they may be somebody that's going to now take 80% of your effort to, and then you don't have the bandwidth to work on your business. So anyway, let's keep moving a little bit. Lloyd, did you have anything else? How's your business going? Not just on what Dawn's saying, but from your perspective, how are you doing? Or I know you've kind of pivoted and you've got the expanded offerings and not just the energy. I know I've noticed, by the way, I've watched some of the energy pricing. I know that's going up pretty dramatically. How is that affecting your world? And is there any opportunity there for you that you see?
Well, energy is a commodity and I don't control the prices.
Right.
So, I'm really at a mercy to the market space, which everybody's at mercy to the market, right? So it's all down to me to educate people about what's going on with the market. And that's pretty decent. Not too much of an issue there. My biggest thing is time. I go to a group on Monday, a group on Tuesday, 2 groups on Wednesday, 2 groups on
Can't hear you.
Oh, you lost you again, Lloyd. I'm sorry. I can't. It's kind of like the market. I don't have control over it either. You'll probably be back, but I get it. So you're doing a lot of what I gathered, and you can nod, and if you end up being able to talk. But what I gather from what you're saying is, and this is a pretty common, not necessarily, but a common problem. I think I can hear you now. So,
yeah, hopefully that'll work better. Yeah, so in terms of price, it's a battle, okay? But trying to decide how I'm going to spend my time is the next thing that I'm looking at, because quite frankly, I'm going to these groups because I enjoy the interaction with the people and I have friends there, and it's like, I feel almost traitorous if I say to someone, hey, I'm not going to come to the group anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Don't feel that way with this group, Lloyd. We love having you here, but again, you said spend time, which I don't like the term. I would prefer you viewing your time with any group, including as investing your time. And if you don't feel like, and again, what you consider return on your investment needs some thought, because it's not just, I had 4 or 5 one-on-ones this week with people that are relatively new to the networking space, and trying, either just getting started, rethinking their business, or maybe been doing it for a while. And in all of those conversations, I mean, every one of those, we had a little bit of discussion on what is the return you're really looking for. And then, as our speaker, as David was, as he was saying last week, right, is why? Why are you, why is that what you're looking for from networking? And, kind of drilling down and getting to the point where you really have the clarity, and you can really make an assessment of, okay, I'm coming to, or just to use this I'm coming to this mastermind because, not necessarily because I'm going to get some market referrals potentially from this group, because we're going to know and appreciate Lloyd better because of the relationship. I'm going to let Todd in here. But the other part of that equation is, hopefully you're getting some expansion of the bandwidth applied to to your challenges, as well as we're getting to know you beyond even what you monetize.
Yeah.
Right.
So
That is a return on your investment, because you don't get that in every group that you participate. At least I don't.
yeah, so I come to this group because I know I'm always going to learn something. I'm always going to pick up something, even if it's even if it's as small as a grain of sand. I'm going to pick something up. I'm going to learn something, and then I also have the option to add value to the people that are on the call. So for me, that's exciting and that's fulfilling for me to be able to do that. So I'm always on the.
I'm glad you're learning. Just as feedback, I'm glad you're learning, and I'm also want to tell you for certain you do contribute value to the group. So we miss you. I was just Randy was going to join, then something came up, and he couldn't make it today. And I told him, I said, we miss your input as well as the challenges. So I appreciate you participating in that. Todd, I don't know, Brewster, I just promoted you or offered the promotion to panelist. You can join if you'd like. Okay, so let's see, Mohammed, would you like to weigh it? You're kind of, now you work at WAFD, you're the brand, are you work for Robert?
Yes, sir. I work with Robert
Okay.
at WAFD Bank.
Yeah. So at WAFD, yeah, I mean, and he was coming to the room. So as you participate in the group, I know you've been joining on Wednesdays, and now you're here. We do, want to know what each person in the mastermind does and how we can support them. So how can we support you? What are you, investing your time in, other than, filling that WAFD or however you want to pronounce it, WAFD. It used to be Washington Mutual, right? Is that
Washington Federal.
or Washington Federal? Yeah, I remember. Okay, so how can we serve you, or what challenges are you wrestling with right now?
Actually, I worked for a bank in my country about more than 20 years. And in US, in banking field, I'm almost new. I know that rules and everything is different. So I'm learning in here. I'm new in Washington Federal Bank, WAFD Bank. So with this position that I have, I need to know the marketing rules, especially in this environment in the US. And I don't know about communicating with people. And my most important concern is my English skill. So at the same time, I'm improving my English skill and my job skill. Okay. So I need to know more about marketing rules, about financial rules in here. And because of this, I joined to many rooms and marketing rooms, and like this, I'm trying to learn more.
Well, that's a totally, I'm glad that we can add some value there, and you can feel free. Obviously, you have a point of view on anything that we're talking about that's different with your experience from other countries and the language. You're doing a whole lot better with the English language than I could do with the language that is your first choice. So, which would be none. So, so I appreciate you making the effort there.
Mohammed, can I ask you a question? You're do you have any licenses to help you know the rules and regulations? I'm not exactly sure. Do you just open accounts? Do you make loans? Do you help people with investments? What exactly is your role at the bank?
In here, I'm personal banker. So I'm involving with opening accounts right now and help people to find a better account that they need to do for businesses and for personal. So, and inside of this, maybe my major services in here should be networking and marketing.
Okay. Yeah, great gaining. And so, yeah, you're kind of on the tip of the spear, so to speak, in your world in terms of new prospective clients and so on. And the things that Robbie D was asking about, some of those, getting approved, some of the more things that would require licensing and things like that, are things that are you hand off or get support from, which totally makes sense. So anyway, that's good. Yeah, thanks for answering that question. That's a good question, Robbie D. That helps kind of with the understanding or positioning there. Hey, Ricky Jean and Todd, I know you're off camera, but you're welcome to join. So let's see. Hey, Robbie D, why don't you share any current challenges or thoughts or anything you've heard thus far? One of the things I shared before some of you got on was the fact that we were going to talk about market segmentation and your ideal client, those things. We're going to do that next Friday because we have Susan Gold, who's going to be facilitating or leading that mastermind on your ideal client and market segmentation, because she's only got 40 years of experience doing that. So I figured she might be a little better at leading that than me. So anyway, she'll be joining us next Friday. So we're kind of catching up with some of the things we heard last week and Dawn's shared and so on. So Robbie D,
I'd like to make a comment on what Lloyd was saying about the networking groups, and that my approach to networking group is not to make sales, but to make relationships with people. And you never know when, like Muhammad just said something, and because I know him, and I meet somebody else, it's, well, there's relationship you can make. And networking to me is just about people and making friendships and knowing resources and having friendships with your resources. Because actually, a lot of what I do, most people can't help me in my real estate business. If you're looking for a house to rent, I'm here. But I'm here to give people advice on how to flip, how to do real estate so they won't get in trouble. But a lot of the things I do, my greenhouse communities, I keep talking about it because I need help. I don't have the strength to do it all myself. And I'm looking for a partner or somebody who wants to join me in getting this put together. But I'm here to be a resource. I love people, and I want to be part of a community, and my networking group is my new community.
Yeah, and you're doing a great job of that, by the way, Robbie D. I mean, you've been with us for a while, but I mean, again, you always have a lot of experience to bring to the table and some perspective that at least I don't have. So I appreciate that. Any recent developments or challenges, immediate challenges that we can help with on like the greenhouse communities? I know you're doing some, have some market strategy and doing some things, and I know you've talked to us that. I think next week will be really valuable. My instinct is to kind of thinking about that, what we learn next week, and applying that to your strategy, marketing strategy, your market penetration for the greenhouse communities and stuff. I kind of suspect that.
Right now, my thinking is I have a contact. I'm trying to get in touch with the people doing the redevelopment of Collin Creek Mall. And I'm also want to launch a media marketing campaign, but I'm spread too thin, and that's why I need a partner. And I'll be more than happy to give up equity in the business for people to help get this launched. It's more of a passion that needs to be done. I think it's going to make a lot of money, but I'm willing to give up equity to get help because I just can't do it all. And that's my frustration is, I got a real estate management company. I'm buying houses. I'm rehabbing. And so I need to delegate, and I'm looking for partners.
Okay, well, that's helpful. Maybe we ought to take. I mean, I'm willing to go offline or one-to-one and focus on that too. Anybody have any thoughts around resources, or anybody that would also want to weigh in with Robbie's challenge?
I would ask, like, who would make a good partner for you? Because what I've thought is maybe somebody in the landscape business. They're close, but they're not the same. But they deal with dirt, So who would make a good? Who do you think would be a good partner for you?
I need a social marketing person, somebody who can get the word out. And, part of this also is test marketing the idea, because I have everything set up for my first order. So if I can start taking reservations and start creating a buzz about it, I think everything will start coming to fruition. But I need to get the word out better than what I'm doing. And I need somebody who's going to take equity to help me do a social market media campaign, manage Facebook, LinkedIn, my Facebook page, because, marketing is 95% of everything.
Yeah, see, everybody I know that does that, they want to get paid.
Yeah.
Equity is not going to do it for them, I don't think. So I'd have to think about if I know anybody that is willing to do that.
And I'm applying for some grants, see if I can get some money.
I know some folks. I don't know them personally, but I know some folks that might be able to help you with, because this is the kind of thing they've done over a long period of real estate investment.
Well, it's a great real estate play because we're going to be landlords. And that's the main play, is having more things to rent.
Right.
And not really being involved in the business. I'm just trying to rent it and manage it and charge fees for each. But the general concept of a new entertainment, district, creating something nobody's ever created before, but people don't know about it. I haven't met one person who said it was a bad idea.
Right.
So,
okay.
My dilemma right now. But
Okay.
thank you.
Any other thoughts anybody has? Again, that's the purpose of this is really not to just throw it out there, but if something occurs to you, and or if you say, hey, Robbie, I'd like, let's get together. Let's, I think I've got some ideas. Maybe it's not something that we can, but sometimes when one person says something, Robbie says it, and whatever, it triggers some expansion of my own mind and so far. But any other thoughts on that before we move on? Okay. Let's see, John Moore, do you have anything? You're on the road. Both you and Ricky are on, in flight, so I don't want to have you run into anybody or anything. But did you have anything? You kind of get the gist of where we're at with this today.
I'm in the parking lot of a racetrack right now, so I'm
Okay. All right. Good.
relative. My major thing right now is just actually recruiting and building a team. My natural market or natural skills has been more of a one-on-one direct marketing and into small businesses and groups. I find that's number one. I will admit I'm getting old and I don't have the energy that I did 10 years ago. But I'm having to shift my focus on recruiting people and really identifying folks that are looking to diversify or whatever you want to call it. And of course,
Right.
the pandemic created an interesting opportunity for lots of folks that were locked out in a stay-at-home environment that are looking now to get out of their jobs. So I'm trying to figure out a strategy to move into the recruiting environment, more the network marketing environment that Legal Shield is also strong in versus the business environment.
Well, interestingly enough, and it's funny you should say it that way. I've thought about doing a training or a mastermind focus on B2B, business to business, because interestingly enough, when you and you'll again, this is kind of a tee up or maybe a teaser for next week, but one of the conversations I had with Susan Gold and is triggered some thoughts in my own mind. But when you talk about networking, even if the product, if you will, that you're selling, you see to the end consumer, what we're doing here is B2B marketing. You know that, right? Even if your product, even if you're selling like Lisa had or whatever, if you're selling travel or facial stuff, or you're like Lloyd selling, energy and other services, and the end client is a customer and it's not a business. What we do and how we market within a networking organization is conceptually B2B, because what you should be doing when you say recruit, number one is Lloyd has that desire as well. I know that because of the businesses that he's in, right, Lloyd? I mean, you can offer additional income streams. If somebody, where the rubber meets the road, and this is a big generalization, so if you'll forgive me for that, but where the rubber meets the road in terms of recruiting somebody who, whether it's, Dawn's needing of a tutor or somebody working in her franchise or whatever, or, anybody needing resources, what you're really looking for is somebody who's going to be inspired to help people with their legal needs, and everybody's going to have a different inspiration point or maybe a different unique reason for doing that. And so the first step in every one of those, Legal Shield, you know, ACN, whoever, you know, I mean, and I'm not throwing them all into one, but when you're talking to somebody about another income stream or an alternative to their job or whatever, you know, that's really, they're looking at something where they're going to invest their time. It has to be something that aligns with that. So you're not going to motivate anybody. And then the other thing becomes then, if they're inspired to do that, whatever that is, and it's really up to them, then it really becomes how are you going to help them do that? How are you going, you know, do they see you, John Moore, because you're the one, quote, wanting to recruit them? Do they see you as somebody who can guide and help them through that? So I don't know if that's helpful or not, but I think that is a pretty common, we've got quite a few folks in the group that could always use, you know, other business owners, associates, whatever you call them. And so I don't know that I've heard anybody that's particularly skilled, and I'm not saying that in a negative way, at communicating the opportunity there or doing that, but maybe that's happening on a one-to-one basis. I'd be interested in anybody.
I'm sorry for talking over you, but I think that's for me personally, it's much more of a mindset situation than anything else. Is particularly for Legal Shield, is the group and the small business side. That's more of a one-on-one direct marketing situation versus the network marketing side, which is more about recruiting. And so coming into Richard Poe Network a long time ago, I made I kind of drew the line between, I'm going to talk about this, I'm never going to talk about the other side of the business. But now I'm thinking that I need to talk about both. I'm trying to figure out a way to do both without looking like I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
So John, very similar to you, I kind of did something the same thing that you did, but recently I've decided that I'm gonna learn how to build a team. So to do that, you actually got to learn how to do that. It's not gonna happen. So you got to find mentorship. Now I grew up broke, so I'm very cheap. I don't like to pay for a whole lot of anything. So like I go to YouTube and I listen to what's this, Jim Rohn. There's a website, and I can put it here in Network Marketing Pro. You can sign up for Eric Worre's podcast. And on that page, you can buy his book, Network Marketing Pro, I believe it's called. And it teaches you, Go Pro, 7 steps to becoming a network marketing professional. It's a pretty inexpensive book. I'd encourage that you buy that. You can join his podcast for free, and you can join a free community. So all that stuff is free, and it's all around his whole deal. Now I'll be share with you that Eric's whole deal is for you to sign up for one of his courses. But he does have this free stuff that you can take advantage of. And you can go to YouTube, you can listen to Earl Nightingale, Earl Schoaf, you know.
Lloyd, send me that link, please.
The what?
Can you send me the link or whatever, either to his YouTube channel or just, in fact, you can share it in the chat if you want, but he's in the car, so he'd probably email it to him or whatever. That would probably be the best.
I'll do that. So, but on YouTube, you just go to YouTube and search, and what I search on is self-development. And all kinds of stuff comes up. You could select what you want. If you pair your phone with your car when you're driving around, you can be listening to that stuff. That's what I do. I go in the morning, I exercise, I have the headphones on, and I'm listening to those guys. Go ahead, Ricky.
Ricky, go ahead. Open up your mic.
Well, if you're interested in building a team, interested in doing things like that in the multi-level marketing, network marketing, we have the perfect
Ricky, you cut out.
Yeah, Ricky, you're kind of,
Do I?
you're kind of breaking up, Ricky.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Is that-
in bits and pieces. So you must be going through a bad cell. Now you come on larger on the screen. So try that.
I'm saying that you need to take advantage of watching how Dave Roberts here builds a team, because he's a natural person who has those abilities. Or maybe he's learned them through the years, but you're missing out on a great opportunity if you just don't sit back or maybe follow him around a little bit or something, because he is a team builder.
Yeah, Dawn?
Back to Robbie D. I don't know. I think that this guy, do you know Rick Rawson with Expanse?
Yeah, he's
I
met
know-
with Rick. Yeah, he's met with Rick.
Okay, I was just thinking he might know somebody. I'm not saying he might, I don't know if he'd be willing to partner with you, but he might know somebody because he knows that market.
Yeah, Rick and I are working together.
Robbie D, you're muted.
Oh,
That is a great idea, and thank you. But we're all thinking on the same path. So
Yeah,
with that,
well, that's the beauty of the mastermind. There's not going to be, we're all kind of expanding the thought process here, where I appreciate what Ricky said. When you're, let me connect the dots kind of with what Lloyd is saying, what John is asking, back to Robbie's need and what Ricky said, is as we kind of try and expand the thought process, what you really need is, number one, content. And Lloyd was right on. The training on product, or knowing whatever product is in your business, is quite different than training on self-development. But we are our business, right? We are, I don't care what the structure of your business. I mean, Muhammad is working for a company and learning and doing things. He's a personal banker, but at the end of the day, he is still his business. Now, maybe he gets paid with a W-2 or a paycheck, but he's still his business. He has his own brand, and you have to understand that you've got to develop you through whatever means, and figure out what you can allocate. I have paid mentors, and I pay for mentors, but I don't have an unlimited budget either. But to continue to learn what I do. I know that Dawn has training that comes with her franchise, but she's paying for that. It's part of the cost of doing that, right? And that gives her the stuff. And Todd, I see you're going, so you'll see tonight. Okay, great. I'll look forward to seeing you tonight. Yeah, don't let me forget. I'm wearing this shirt so I don't forget. Lloyd,
Reach out to try to check, but I am listening.
okay.
But you said was I think it's more into the mindset,
Right.
because having worked in corporate America for so long, plus I have the military and other backgrounds, that make me thrive on more structure.
Right.
So I did that I am my business now. It's been something that was more difficult to grasp than might have been for a lot of people.
Right. Okay. Well, we'll, you're kind of breaking up, but I got the gist of that. And so I think the bottom line is Lloyd's giving you some places to go for some of that content. And then what Ricky said is kind of a, you know, if you want to say how to apply that content, or, you know, or talk about maybe some like get down and dirty kind of thing, and how you can make some of that work. You do have some people in this group, myself, even, you know, Lloyd, you know, we're all on the journey, right? It doesn't mean that one of us is smarter than the other. We're all kind of on the journey. We've learned some things. We know some things because we've seen some things, right? I think there's a commercial out like that, you know, but so those of us who've been around, sometimes just hearing somebody else say, well, you know, what you really need to do with that is this, because they know you. I mean, I can help you can, somebody can tell you, well, this is what you need to do. And then I could say, yeah, but John, before you do that, you need to do this. And you need that kind of mentorship. I've had guys tell me, some of my mentors say, yeah, you're right, you need to do that, but here's where you're screwed up. You got to fix this before you do that. Okay. And so there's some real practical application. Ricky, did you have anything you'd like to share, or any challenges or things we can help you with? I haven't given you a chance other than you popped in for somebody else. Do you have a good enough connection to share?
I don't know. Is that a connection? Is that a good enough connection?
We can hear you. So, and I know it's you talking. So, and
well, my challenge has always been being a person with the ping pong brain, and I'm always jumping from one thing to another. I think they have a medical, you know, term for that.
Yeah, I have that too.
And so one of my most successful ventures for almost 20 years was being a manufacturer's rep for 3 different manufacturers that weren't related at all. And I could just jump from one industry to another industry. And I just did it with like a pro athlete, apparently, because that's in my nature, is to jump from one thing to another, almost at the same time. It seemed like sometimes that was my most successful thing. But then I also have to realize that I have to manage that, because I can jump, and all I do is jump from one thing to the other without getting anything done. So I have to manage that. But when I look back on my most successful business ventures, I had 3 different manufacturers that weren't related at all. And I was the manufacturer's rep, an independent manufacturer's rep for 3 different companies that just fell in my lap, so to speak. So that's my continual management problem and advice, self-management.
Well, self-management, Ricky, you don't own that challenge. I think we all have, in varying degrees. We all, Dawn raised her hand. I would acknowledge that I have the same thing. I think Dawn is leaving us, but she acknowledges that we were talking. We all have that. One of the things I wanted to throw out, Ricky, you triggered a thought, and again, that's the purpose of this kind of a mastermind thought process, is that it probably is worth all of us thinking about. I'm even thinking about Robbie's challenge. It's finding people who are, you know, again, part of why you're networking is when you were a manufacturer's rep, you had 3 people with different products, but yet they needed what you do, from different reasons. that's kind of all of us, right? I mean, whether you need an internet marketer, a marketing person, that marketing person is kind of skilled, or a salesperson, or somebody that'll help you, right? They can do that. It doesn't matter. It's somewhat product independent. So when where you can find people who are kind of calling on the same people, even if they're not calling on them right now for what you're doing, which is kind of the thought process around, if somebody's looking for equity, let's say, I've already got a paycheck coming in, let's say, and I'm already out there networking and I'm getting some business for this reason, but I'm not getting enough. Maybe partnering and finding somebody who could pay you in a different way, maybe a long-term way or an equity way, or a residual income kind of way, something that kind of builds a different part of your financial package, isn't a bad thing to think about from a strategy. And so networking, not just to recruit somebody to be your salesperson, but maybe find somebody who's already out there in the market, talking to people with credibility. Maybe they can be your referral partners and bring resources to the table. So it just occurred to me when we were talking about that. Okay, so we got about 10 minutes. I want to do a couple of things here. But quickly before we do, was there anything that I don't want to cut anything off. On the other hand, this has been good discussion. This will be recorded. It will be in our private Facebook and on our YouTube. So you go back and look at this if there's something somebody said. I do appreciate it when I've had a couple people say, we were talking about this, and I think I can help somebody, whether it was, I think I can help John with this, or Lloyd, or I really like what Lloyd said, and want to follow up and connect with them. And I think that's still a good strategy, whether you're, the pure networking or whatever. So any other thoughts before I go into kind of announcements? And because we've got a couple of things coming up that I want to make sure everybody is aware of. Anybody? Hearing none, I'm going to go, and if you think of something afterwards, it's fine. That's why I say, that's what I like about this format, is I want to give everybody a chance to participate and share not only their wisdom, which is, makes us all smarter, but also any challenges that they're wrestling with. Even if we don't immediately solve the problem, it becomes part of I can tell you for certain, when you throw things out, they become part of my thought process. And so then gets you your thoughts and your challenges and your goals on my radar. So I appreciate everybody sharing that. As I said a couple of times, next week, Susan Gold and I've got to update the meetup calendar. We'll be leading our mastermind, and we'll be talking about basically getting clarity on your client, starting to figure out how to market and get other people in the network aligned with you, whether they're your prospective client or maybe a partner, as we've talked about today, and knowing who your ideal client is and those kinds of things. So the core of what she's going to be talking about is some things maybe you've heard before, but I found with her, for my time with her 40 years of experience and just the breadth of experience that she has, I found it to be very valuable. For the guys here, I'm wearing a Warriors shirt from a Warriors movement that was East Coast driven. And we're trying to create that men's movement here. And part of the folks that I've invited the Men's Breakfast Network to that is tonight from 6 to 8 p.m. And it's at Warehouse. So that's 600 Data Drive. The information I sent out again in an email. So if you're part of the Men's Breakfast Network, you would have gotten that. The cost for that is a whole $10. And we're going to be fed. I'm going to have barbecue, and it's going to be kind of a kickoff to building this movement in this area for men supporting men. So everybody here is invited to that. If $10 is too much for dinner, just let me know. I'll pay for your $10. So because I would like for, we meet once a month on Saturday mornings. Sometimes that's hard, sometimes it's easy, but I also want to expand our influence and our impact as guys supporting guys. Looks like it's all guys here right now since Dawn dropped off. So you're all invited. I'm going to be there, and then as soon as I'm done there, I'm coming to Porta because Ricky and Denise are going to be there. And who else is there with you, Ricky? Can you unmute? I don't remember your
David Moody.
David Moody, yeah, and he's great too. So they're going to be doing some music and stuff. I'm already going to have eaten, so I'm not going to be eating at Porta, but I will come there for a drink and hear some music and help close that out. So I'll be there for your Music Friday, and then you have another Music Friday next Friday. So next week is the same. We have our Monday mixer, and as for anybody that wasn't around on this last Wednesday, we had 5 or 6 new people on Wednesday. 6, yeah, John's saying 6, and we had a great, really good energy in the room, and we still had like 14 people on Zoom. So we're getting back.
By the way,
I'm sorry, John.
Rover was in top form.
Yeah, everybody was in top form. That's the thing, is one of the things about, for those of us that have been doing networking for a bit, getting that energy back in the room is still the key. And I was on a high after Wednesday, and I think I had some people say, "Hey, I was there Wednesday. I'm not going to make it on Friday, but good on you." I think sometimes, but that's okay. Again, we're here. What we do here is to serve. So, any other announcements or anything anybody's got that we need to be aware of? Okay, well, we're officially done, but we've got 5. We've got time. If anybody wants to, Robbie, I do want to give some thought to your challenge, a little more focus on getting that marketing going, and I've got a few thoughts there, and maybe some connections we can make.
Perfect, thanks.
Okay.
See you guys.
All right, we'll see you, Robbie D.
Talk to you in more depth. I'll be in touch with you.
Okay, one of the things I did want to share, by the way, we're talking about cheap. Lloyd, I'm talking to you. Okay, so anybody that's a free, I'm going to send out an email. I'm getting a little smarter on what the deal is. But anybody who's a free member of Be Konnected right now, or somebody who doesn't even know what Be Konnected is, I've been pushing for something that just happened. All of the training that I've showed you, the $40,000 worth of training and stuff, that was accessible for a $299, well, it's $220 something for if you do it under Richardson Plano Networkers, is now it's $99, or an association $74. So if you are just a connection generator member, or you're a free member for $99 and $49 a month if you haven't, and then nothing if you refer 2 people. So if you're looking to get access to some of this development and training, because I can tell you for a fact that whether it's Jim Rohn and Lloyd was pretty, he's been around like me. All of these quote free programs will only take you so far. And then if you're really going to put it into work, you're either going to hire somebody to do it for you, or you're going to be in a paid program that's going to cost you a hell of a lot more than $99 or whatever. So I encourage you, that's a new change. It was, there's only 2 paid levels now. One is $99, which gets you access to the connection generator and all that, as well as all the stuff that you used to get for $2.99. And then there used to be a $4.99 B Pro Plus and a $12.99 affiliate. Those are gone. There's only 2 levels. The $2.99 gets you the ability to make money off and monetize your show, your network, those kinds of things. If none of that makes sense to you, or you don't care about any of that, let me know. And for those that have been already in or a part of it, and you know,
is it 99 a month or 99 one time?
99, well, it's actually, again, if you're under the, I don't know which umbrella, you know, what you would be under. It's 99 or 74 if you come in as under the B Associates. I think it's 74. And then the 49 a month is only as long as you haven't referred 2 people. If you refer 2 other people at 99, then that's it. I mean, you're done. No more, you know, like 49 a month or anything like that. So, and
Or you cut out, I was driving through a dead zone. So was that $99 a month or $99?
no, 99 one time, 99 one time, and then 49 a month until you refer 2 people that pay. Once you refer 2 people pay. By the way, I don't want to spend all our time on this, but if there's any, if you want to have a conversation about that, just let me know. I mean, I'm a founding ambassador. I mean, we have RPN, we have access to that. We have special discounts. I want everybody to have as much as we can give, and you know, and by the way, what I'm toying with, because you know, even though the $2 a month isn't or $2 a week isn't a big deal and all that other stuff, anybody that's in that is in that paid, I'm thinking, just to make it simple, we'll just, you know, say if you're in a Be Connected paid, then the $2, you know, thing is, it's not that important. I mean, if you're part of that, it makes life easier for me because I'm starting to do some things with building the community through that and using that to leverage my connections with other people, and it's providing a lot of value to my ability to impact this network and other people. So it's worth it to me. And again, we still get plenty of, you know, ability for me to keep the mixer going and keep you know, rewarding our servers and all the other stuff. So anyway, so I'm thinking about that. That's just for challenges that I'm in dealing with as far as running this group. So anybody got any ideas or thoughts on that? I'm open for any. I consider you guys kind of leadership and helping think through some of this stuff from a group standpoint as well. So be interested in any thoughts on that. Any other thoughts, anybody, or questions or anything? All right. Well, y'all can, I hope everybody has a great weekend. If any of the guys, you know, if you're going to be around tonight, you know, again, I know, Ricky, you've got a conflict from 6 to 8. So, and I apologize up front. I think my wife is going to come. I think Cheryl's going to come down and listen to music at some point. We don't have our granddaughters tonight, so have them tomorrow, but don't have them tonight. So we'll probably pop down and support. Lloyd, I appreciate you. Mohammed, anything we can do to support you and your journey there? Appreciate you being part of the equation here, and John, again, as always, important.
All right, guys, y'all have a great weekend. See ya.
All right, Lloyd, we'll see you later, brother.